Okay, so our next step in Tinkercad is to design a stamp that has your initials or some kind of logo that you would like to use, or it could actually have your whole name. We need to create a stamp that has like a little handle, so we'll use a cylinder tool to create a handle, and we'll have your signature. So the first thing you need is a file to import with this design. So this was actually an image that I imported into Tinkercad and then turned it into a stamp. One good tip for making an image to have a digital file of is to use pixlr.com. So if you go to Pixlr, Pixlr.com, and choose Pixlr E, it looks a lot like Photoshop. So if you've been familiar with Photoshop, you create new. Web small is good. We're not making a very huge image. You can use the shape tools to pull a shape. I think I'd rather have this to be white. So I'm going to fill with the fill bucket, make it white. I can use my text tools. I can add text. I can, let's see, change the color to black. Black and white is all you need. And sometimes the clicking is beyond me. But you can then, edit that, choose different fonts, play around with it. So once you get your design, I wouldn't use that. That's not a good one. There you go. Nice solid fonts. Once you get a good font, please stay away from Comic Sans just because it's terrible. Comic Sans is against the rules. Once you have your design, you can save it. You're going to go to File and you're going to go to Save. Obviously, that's not a great stamp, but when you are done with your design, make sure to choose a JPEG image. A JPEG is something you can use to create your stamp. So I'm going to move on to that. Let's say I've already done that. I'm going to look up an SVG converter because JPEG is a great universal image file, but an SVG is something that can actually be imported into a 3D program like Tinkercad. So we need to take your JPEG and turn it into an SVG. So I Googled SVG converter and I like this pick SVG. So I'm going to go there. I'm just going to hit the button that says upload a picture. And when I upload a picture, I want, something that is very black and white. So let's see, I'll go to this. I'll choose this WV logo. Okay. So you're picking your design. I'm just going with a black and white picture that I know. Now, anything that is black is going to be a raised line on your stamp. So this would be just an outline of a WV logo. So what I want to do, I want to go to where it says invert, and I'm going to try a couple different options until I get that black and white, and then I'm going to download my SVG. Make sure to save this in some place that is easy for you to get. I'm going to right-click, save as, and I'm going to save this in my my 3D file, WV logo, and it's an SVG document. Okay, now I can go to Tinkercad, and I am going to create new design. And I get a nice clean workspace. Here it is. There's Tinkercad. It's loading. And there's my new workspace. So up here, there is a button to import 3D files. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to choose a file. Now I can go and find my SVG file. There it is. Oh, wait, that's not it. That's my, you got to remember to go to the right place, guys. I got to go to the place where I saved it, open 3D, and then WV logo. I have actually saved a few of these. I'm just going to pick this one. This one will work. It's a different one than I just saved because I didn't remember what I saved mine as, but that's okay. All right, so now I have my 3-dimensional WV and I can make it smaller. We want this to be about an inch. Now you notice this is in like millimeters. I'm going to go down to edit grid, change from millimeters to inches, update my grid, and now I can see, I'm going to try to get it a little more centered. I'm going to make it in there. And I can pull that in, and it's 2.5 by 2. I want it to be under 1 inch. So maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And yeah, so I would tinker with that in Tinkercad and get it to just the right size. And you can see it's a little smushed, so sometimes it's good to look at it from multiple angles. And now I'm going to raise that up, because I want to put a couple cylinders. I want to put a flat cylinder as like a base. And I'm going to move this around. So I think you have to just kind of size it into place. I'm going to get that to be a circle right below. And now this is just a base for my my WV, and I'm going to have to make it touch. So I'm going to use that up arrow. I'm going to pull that up, and then I'm going to do that again. Let me adjust that a wee bit. I'm going to do that again with another cylinder to make my handle, and I will have to put my handle underneath there. So using the different angles, I'm going to make my handle the right size. And if I'd really paid attention to how high my other one was, this would be easier. But make this the right height, smush it down, get it underneath there. And that's how you're going to make your handle. And you can see that your teacher is not the best at Tinkercad. I have to fumble around. Already I'm seeing you guys are a little bit better at this than I am. So just, keep on keeping on. I'm going to play around with this until I get it to be the right size. And it does need to touch, so you can see that mine is floating. And look, that's nowhere near. So make sure to keep rotating. Hopefully my mistakes will teach you well until you get all connected and a nice little handle. And when you're done, you should have a stamp that's all connected. When you're all done, you're going to want to group everything together. So tinker around with it until you get your handle on here, a little base, your 3D stamp, and that the overall shape of it is not like much bigger than an inch. You probably want to be even smaller, like a ½ inch would be good. So you may need to like zoom into the workspace. But that is how you're going to import an image in order to make your stamp.